As Scottish Murders are on holiday this month, there won't be any normal full-length episodes being released. And so today's episode is a mini Scottish mystery episode. Ian Robertson was a local postman in Tayport in 1971 and was affectionately known as Ian the Postie. Sundays were his only days off, and he liked to spend them with his wife and children. Ian and his wife had one boy, Neil, and three girls, Lynn, Faye, and Avril. The family took pleasure in having walks along the Tayport beach on Sundays. Tayport Beach is a stretch of sand and shingle to the southeast of Tayport Harbour. Tayport is a village on the east coast of Scotland looking over the River Tay, and it is a 10-minute drive from Dundee, which is the fourth largest city in Scotland. Now, on this particular Sunday in May 1971, Ian had decided to take his 5-year-old son, Neil, and the family dog for a walk along the Tayport beach. And then Ian spotted what he thought was a large plastic doll drifting in the water near the shore, and so he went to investigate. He was not prepared for what he saw. He immediately shielded his son from the discovery and ordered him to go back home and call the police. What he had found was the body of a boy aged between 2 and 4 years old. The body was pretty beaten up due to it having hit rocks and the riverbed repeatedly. It was a shocking discovery. The police arrived and took the boy's body away, and a post-mortem was carried out. The report said that the wee boy wore a blue shirt with a pyjama top over it. The report also said that the boy's body had been in the water for between 4 and 6 weeks. It stated that the boy's death had been due to drowning. However, the pathologist also said that the child appeared to have been well nourished and cared for, and that there was no other evidence of trauma apart from what the body had received from hitting the rocks and riverbed. However, the pathologist also said that the boy appeared to have died from natural causes before even being in the water. So that was a bit contradictory. Did the wee boy either die from drowning or from natural causes? The police waited in apprehension for the parents of the wee boy to come forward, as there had been no missing children reported locally. However, after finding out that the body had been in the water for between 4 and 6 weeks, the police, thinking this was odd, made a nationwide appeal for the parents of the child to come forward. This case became huge all over the United Kingdom and captured people's hearts. So much so that funds poured in from all over Scotland to put towards the wee boy's funeral. With nobody coming forward to say that this was their wee boy and nothing else to go on, the police went back to the clothing the child had been wearing. They had identified from a label on the shirt that it had been discontinued 5 years earlier. So the police believed that this shirt may either have been a hand-me-down or had been bought from a second-hand shop, and therefore the police believed that the boy had come from a poor family. The police had quite a few theories of why and how the boy's body had come to be floating just off the Tayport beach. The first theory was that the boy had been aboard one of the many ships that visited Tayport Harbour and had accidentally fallen off. However, following contacting the harbour and ship companies that had been in the area, there had been no reports of any children either missing or being reported to have fallen overboard. So that theory went out the window. The second theory, and most popular theory for some time, was that a ship had either been lost at sea or sunk, killing everyone on board. But why would this child be the only body that appeared on the beach if that was the case? Plus, it turned out that there had been no reported lost or abandoned ships in this time period either. So this theory fizzled out too. Another theory was that perhaps he was a local boy and they had come from a poor family, and that maybe his mother or parents couldn't afford the funeral and were ashamed to come forward and say he was theirs after it became such a huge story. So the police had nothing to go on. Nobody had come forward to claim this wee boy. Where and who were his parents? On the 27th of May 1971, thanks to the massive generosity of the Scottish people, 5 days after the wee boy was found, he was buried in the local Tayport cemetery. The ceremony was attended by quite a number of people, all of whom said it was the saddest funeral they had ever attended, made exceptionally sad due to the fact nobody had appeared to love this boy enough to come forward, although he had captured the hearts of Scotland. Then, shortly after the funeral, witnesses came forward to say that they had heard a couple talking on a bus about a wee boy they had lost. The couple were reported to have been very intoxicated, and the woman started crying about the loss of her boy. This couple were identified and brought in for questioning. The couple were travellers who confirmed that they had been staying in a tent in the area at the time of the wee boy being found. The couple were questioned by the police and they were now sober, but the woman grew more and more upset as she was questioned by the police, with the man again getting angry at her and telling her to be quiet. At this stage, I don't know why the police wouldn't have separated the couple and questioned them individually. The woman might have been more forthcoming. Police officers said that the couple neither admitted nor denied that the boy was theirs. However, the police did suspect that this couple were the parents of the wee boy, but they couldn't hold them, and so the couple moved away from the area and they were never seen again. Following the discovery of the travellers perhaps being the wee boy's parents, another theory circulated. A lot of travellers lived in cold, wet tents, and perhaps this couple's wee boy had got pneumonia and sadly died of natural causes. Perhaps the couple couldn't afford the cost of burying their child, or perhaps they didn't want to get embroiled in any paperwork, and so the man perhaps took it upon himself to sort the situation. He could have gently placed the wee boy in the water, thinking that he would drift out to sea and be lost, instead of ending up on the Tayport beach. Sadly, it appeared that the only crime that had actually been committed was one of failing to register the death. The parents could have come forward and there would have been no repercussions, but they didn't. On the 5th of July 1971, a kind local sculptor donated a headstone for the wee boy's grave. It read,
"Erected by the people of Scotland in memory of the unknown Bairn. A wee boy aged between 2 and 4 years found on the beach at Tayport, 23rd of May 1971. Suffer little children to come unto me."
Ian the postie and his son Neil were deeply affected by the events on the beach of Tayport that day, something they never did get over. The discovery and the sad story of the wee boy had been shocking for Ian, so much so that he spent the rest of his life tending to the unknown Bairn's grave alongside his family. They took the unknown Bairn into their hearts and into their lives, and Ian treated him as if he had been his own son. He would spend the next 36 years of his life making sure this wee boy knew love, until his death at the age of 74 in January 2007. The Robertson family, knowing the unbreakable bond that Ian had with the unknown Bairn, made sure that he was buried as close to the boy that he had taken into his heart and his life as possible. Ian's son Neil continued the tradition of tending to the unknown Bairn's grave until his sad death. Now Ian's wife and his daughter Avril are making sure that both Ian and the unknown Bairn's graves are well looked after. The unknown Bairn has not only been part of the Robertson family lives, but to this day the local council lay flowers on the grave every anniversary for the people of Tayport, and the locals continue to visit the grave on each anniversary and lay flowers too. The unknown Bairn he may be, but he is not forgotten. And then in 2018, 47 years after the unknown Bairn was found on the Tayport beach, retired police officer who worked on the case, Bob Beveridge, reported that he was pretty sure that he knew who the wee boy was and who his parents were, but that he wouldn't be revealing this as he believed that the wee boy would lose his fame if he did so. I think this man was just looking for a wee bit of fame himself, and really could have kept that to himself. So, if we were to believe that the wee boy was from a travelling family, it can be understood why they, one, didn't feel they could have a burial for their son, and 2 wouldn't come forward to say he was theirs. There were a lot of prejudices back then, and now to be honest, against travellers, and they were very wary of the police and any formal interactions, such as funerals. They might have felt that something that had happened naturally to their son would be made out to be of their doing. It's really sad that if his parents were travellers, that they felt unable to give their child a proper burial. Nowadays, of course, with the development of DNA profiling, this case could have been solved with a quick swab. But where would you start in trying to find his family now, even if they were still alive? I think it will never be known who this wee boy was or what his life was like before his death. However, we do know that he was nothing but loved and looked after upon his death. A small blessing, perhaps. And that's the end of the story. Now, if you follow Scottish Murders on social media, you will have seen we have uploaded pictures and videos from the places we have visited on the west coast of Scotland while on holiday last week. We collected some memorabilia from the places we visited, such as keyrings, fridge magnets, and even a book. And we'd like to give all this away to one lucky listener. All you have to do is visit us on either Instagram or Facebook, find our post regarding this giveaway, and leave a comment saying why you would like to win and tag a friend in for you to be eligible to win. The closing date will be Sunday the 14th of August 2022 at midday UTC, and at 5 p.m. we will have a live draw on Facebook and we'll share on Instagram. So get commenting and don't forget to tag a friend. Good luck!
Scottish Murders is a production of Cluarantonn.